Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. Thank you for joining us for our second summer webinar for our incoming families. Today we'll be talking all things pre-orientation programs. We have some wonderful programs that your students can take advantage of before classes start and they move in the fall. And I can't wait for you to hear more about each of these programs. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we continue. This session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel in 1 to 2 business days following this session. And you will get an email letting you know that that recording is live and ready for your review. We will use the Q&A feature here in Zoom to ask questions of our presenters, and we will take as many questions as we have time for at the end of our session. We will hold all questions about all programs until the end of the session, just to give all of our presenters time to make it through all of their programs and all of the information that you need to know about pre-orientation at William & Mary. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start our lineup of presenters. Thank you all so much for being here today. We're going to start with Student Leadership Development, who is going to teach us all we need to know about Elevate, their inaugural pre-orientation program.
Good time, everyone. I don't know, afternoon, morning, but my name is Ann Arsenault. I'm part of the Office of Student Leadership Development here with my colleague, Jennifer Leung, to share a little bit about both our office and our pre-orientation program. Student Leadership Development supports individuals who want to grow their individual leadership capacity. And we also concurrently support our 500 recognized student organizations at William & Mary. So we really consider ourselves a practice field for where students are going to be continuing to gain and develop their own sense of leadership, their own leadership skills, and help to support positive change in the communities, causes, and initiatives that are important to them. Our pre-orientation program is modeled after the approach that we take with our student organizations and with individual students. We like to support and focus on both individual leader development, so for individuals seeking to increase their leadership capacity, and then also on leading that into organization success. We know most students coming into William & Mary are looking to get involved in our vibrant community of student organizations. And while they are practicing leadership, they will also be practicing and executing organization leadership. So we think both are important, and our program will focus on opportunities and access to both, all for the shared goal of getting to create positive change and practicing that in the places that are important to individuals. And so we think both are important. We spend time in both, and that is really how Elevate is designed. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Jen, to share a few more details about Elevate.
Yeah, so as Heather mentioned, Elevate, this is in our inaugural year. So this is a brand new program that's designed to jumpstart the leadership journey for incoming students who know that they want to be involved and to make an impact at William & Mary. There will be a lot of interactive sessions, both in large and small group settings, where students will have the opportunity to expand their leadership potential and build meaningful connections with other future campus leaders. Topics for the different sessions will include emotionally intelligent leadership, being a resilient leader at William & Mary, strengths-based leadership, navigating conflict, engaging in conversations that strengthen community, and how to get involved and how to make the most out, or how to get the most out of being involved on campus. Students will leave with a better understanding of who they are as a leader and have a plan to continue to grow into the leader that they want to be while they're here at William & Mary. They will also leave with a strong network of fellow leaders eager to make an impact at William & Mary. This program will help them enter their William & Mary experience with the confidence, knowledge, and connections to be an effective and supported leader. Some program details. We do have an application process, and the applications are live now. And that information can be found on the pre-orientation program website that Heather had a QR code to earlier. And those applications are due by Memorial Day. We'll review those applications and we'll notify students if they've been selected by the following Monday, which will be June 2nd. Students who are selected to participate in this program will be provided with a link to register. And we ask that they register by June 23rd so that we can get them assigned housing and all of that stuff for the program. There is a $275 fee, and that fee is really to cover the cost of expenses for housing on campus for the 3 nights that they'll be here, as well as meals throughout the program and some of our activities and program materials. We do have some financial assistance available for students for whom this fee might be a barrier for participation. Students who would like to request financial assistance for the program can make a note of that in their application. The program does start on Wednesday, July 9th. And parents and families are invited to join us for an optional welcome session at 4 o'clock that afternoon after they've gotten their students settled. And then they're also invited to join us for a closing session on Saturday, July 12th in the morning, right before departure. Again, both of these sessions are optional for parents and families, but you're welcome to come and learn a little bit more about what your student will be experiencing in the program, and then also spend some time kind of seeing the celebration at the end of their time with us in the program. We are really excited to offer this new program. We've been talking about doing this for years. And so this is the year we have finally decided to do it. And we hope that your student will join us for this brand new leader development experience. And I'm going to turn things over to our colleagues in Student Accessibility Services.
Hello, my name is Lorraine Petway. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Accessibility Services. What we do is we provide different accommodations for students once they become full-time students here at William & Mary. This is our second annual year of doing our Summer Connections program. It's hosted by us, the Student Accessibility Services Office. The SAS Summer Connections program is a week-long supportive experience for incoming freshman students. We have created this specifically for students with disabilities, and our trained staff are familiar with their needs. So during this program, students will engage in mock class sessions, interact with peer leaders, and engage in social outings to build community and relationships. Participants will also be provided the opportunity to become familiar with numerous campus resources. The purpose of this program is really, we understand that when they make that transition from high school to college, it can be very difficult, and sometimes students can feel very lost in the sauce. So we wanted to give all of our students with accessibility needs the option of kind of getting a jump start on their William & Mary academic career path here. So we wanted to create an environment that is very inclusive for them and can provide them with a jumpstart in getting to know all of their resources here with William & Mary. So along with all the things that we have to offer for our Summer Connections program, we offer a chance to help the students make social connections, an introduction to academic life, get acclimated to the campus life, a chance to learn advocacy skills, and a chance to practice college life skills as well. And so during that time, we offer not only just a snippet of what it's like to be a student here with the academics, but we want them to be just be familiar with all of our services, resources, and faculty and staff. So we will have little mock lectures where they can sit in a classroom and meet some professors, and then also meet some other resources here on campus that they might need while they're a student here. Along with that, we have our mentors who some of them receive accessibility services, and they're very excellent at helping other students navigate, what it's like to transition to be a student here. So we like to provide this Summer Connections program. It really helps just get the students acclimated that need that additional support. Well, it will take place on July 21st. 2025, and it will end on the 25th of July. And it's going to be Monday through Friday. Each session will begin at 8 a.m. Everything will usually end around 8:30 each evening. A lot of the fun activities will start happening around 5 o'clock after dinner. That's when they'll have time to go to the movies, or we'll go bowling, or they'll have time to kind of like spend time with our peer mentors and socialize and do other additional activities around the campus. The good thing about our program this year is it's free. So along with it being free, the students will have the opportunity to just have a week where they can come, live on campus. Their room, food, and board will be covered during that time. They don't have to worry about any additional funding for it. It's all paid for. And I have also included the registration QR code, and we hope to see you guys there. In regards to student accessibility services, what we actually do is we serve students who need academic testing accommodations, housing accommodations, and just any additional accommodations that might impede their learning. So once they become a student here and after they do the Summer Connections program and they want to further their services with us, we usually will connect with them and do welcome meetings and get them started with the academic needs that they need for accommodations as well. So we hope to see you guys there. If you are interested, please let us know. And at this time, I'm going to pass it to Michael. He is with the Pathways.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Michael White, and I am the Associate Director of Campus Recreation who oversees our Tribe Adventure program. Our Pathways pre-orientation program is part of a much larger outdoor recreation program that we have here at the college. Offered each August, we serve approximately 120 incoming freshmen each year. And so it's a very exciting and a very large pre-orientation program. Students have an opportunity to choose from a list of, this year we'll have 5 different types of trips, each very unique in their offering. We have everything from backpacking to surfing, a lot of variety and a lot of different opportunities for folks with different amounts of experience. Students who sign up for Pathways do not need to have any outdoor experience whatsoever. And actually, many of our students will go camping for the very first time on their Pathways pre-orientation program. The best place to get information about our program is from our webpage, which I am going to attempt to share with you right now. So our online application process opens on May 21st. It is an application process because this is a very popular program. So we accept applications, review the application, and if we have a spot that meets your students' needs, they will be assigned a trip. In the application process, there's lots of information about the program to make sure that it's right for your student. Students who are freshmen or transfers who will be studying on campus for the very first time of the fall 2025 semester are eligible. We offer 2 sessions. We have a session 1 and a session 2. Session 1 begins August 11th and ends on August 15th, and session 2 begins August 18th and ends on the 22nd. You may note that the 22nd is also the first day of William & Mary orientation, and we work very closely with our housing and with our first-year experience programs and orientation programs to make sure that that transition is smooth and works well for our students. And in doing that, we do have some information on our website on what that looks like in regards to move-in. We do often have an opportunity for an early, we call it a drop-off because it's not a full move-in. Students are able to, when they check in for Pathways that week, drop their belongings in their dorm rooms if they are available. There is a fee for our program. The fee this year is $215, and that is all inclusive. That includes all of their meals, their camping reservations, their entrance fees. In some cases, we work with outfitters. This provides all of their group gear. They will have an equipment list, which will mostly include personal items like clothing and toiletries and those types of things, but we can provide everything else. There is financial aid available. Applicants, we can select that on their application process. We don't want the cost of our program to be prohibitive for any of our students. Students will pay online, or I should probably say parents often pay online for the program, and we send an email with information on how to do that. We use a platform through Campus Recreation to accept payments. The application closes July 13th. And at that point, we make sure that we've covered anybody who is maybe on a waiting list. There is a cancellation policy. Because it's such a popular program, we want to make sure that we fill all of our spots and that all the students who are available and want to attend can. And so these cancellation policy allows us to be able to add people to our program as people have things come up or maybe become ill just before the program, we try to work with everybody to make that as smooth as possible. So I'm sure one of the things that everybody wants to know is what are the trips this year? Each year, the trips change just a little bit. We like to try something a little new and add it to the program. This year, we're offering backpacking in the Appalachian Mountains. Part of that trip will most likely be on the Appalachian Trail. We offer backpacking. This is our new one this year, backpacking in Grayson Highlands, where participants will be backpacking through an area that's known for its wild ponies, which is a very exciting experience to see those wild ponies. We offer a canoe and camping program where participants travel around the state and they paddle on different waters such as the James River and Holiday Lake State Park and camp along the way. We offer Surfs Up, which is a surfing program. We go to Virginia Beach and we utilize one of the outfitters there, give all our participants surfing lessons, and they have an opportunity to also stand up paddleboard. And then the last program we offer is Base Camp Bears Den, where we use a historic lodge that we spend a good bit of time through our program. It's a large kind of castle-like structure and cabin where they'll camp part of their trip, they'll stay in the lodge part of their trip, and each day they go out and have an adventure in Virginia. That typically includes some type of caving, some type of kayaking, a visit to a historical site, and they get to have all of those experiences throughout their week. So scrolling down our website, you'll find other information about travel considerations. If your student is coming from out of state, if they plan to come early, we do have some students actually sign up for both weeks. And in between the two sessions, there's information about how they might find housing, things like Airbnbs in the area, about shuttling from the airport and that kind of information. And then one of the most common questions is about that session 2. If my student signs up for session 2, how will they transition into orientation? We custom design that and work with all of the areas involved to make sure that that goes smoothly. We're still working out some of the finer details right now, but some students will be able to visit their dorm room at the beginning of the week to drop some of their things off. If that is not possible, we provide a storage area for their items. And then our staff will help them transition their belongings on Friday. And then that they will smoothly be ushered into orientation kind of as a single group. All of those participants will go and meet in one area and then be helped into the orientation process. If you have any questions or concerns, our email is there, pathways@wm.edu. You can also email me directly. My email is displayed, mswhite@wm.edu. And we hope your student signs up for our program.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, as Anne has mentioned. Who knows what coast we may be on this afternoon. I'm Monique Williams. I am the director of the Center for Student Diversity, and I'm here to share a little bit about our Preparing for Life as a University Student, or better known as the PLUS program. So just a little bit about the Center for Student Diversity. We are part of the larger planning strategy and integrative practices area of William & Mary here within Student Affairs. And we really strive to foster inclusion, collaboration, and relationship building within the campus community. And we also provide academic, social, and transition resources for students who are often underserved and underrepresented as a way of promoting a great exchange of ideas as well as dialogue between individuals of diverse backgrounds and identities. And the PLUS program is one of those ways in which we begin fostering those relationships with students as well as supporting students who greatly take interest in helping with that mission. So just a little bit about our PLUS program. We have been around for quite a bit of time. In some of our earlier iterations of the programs, which started in the 1980s, the program has really largely served as a resource to help students in their transition to William & Mary by providing that supportive, mentorship-based relationship with upperclassmen, peers, as well as our incoming students. And through this week-long residential-based pre-orientation experience, we really help students to learn what it really is like to be a university student here at William & Mary. And so through just a lot of ongoing engagement with students throughout the week, as well as what we call our Plus extension of resources, we really help our students to navigate not only the academic life and student life at William & Mary, but also really to start fostering their own genuine connections with their peers. And so throughout the PLUS program, we really strive to achieve these 5 pillars with our students. That really begins with that pre-orientation through our PLUS program and extends through their life as a William & Mary student. And so we focus on helping our students connect through curriculum, scholarship, and research by really honing in on their academic success. We provide support for our students to start fostering their community and leadership development by helping them to understand how their voice and their experiences can help make an impact on campus. And then we focus on how do we help our students to create a healthy balance between their social life as well as their academic life and the number of things that they'll get involved in as students while they're here on campus so that they can flourish and be really driven students that they are. We also focus on college to career readiness with opportunities that we provide our students through the pre-orientation program and throughout their life experience at William & Mary by focusing on how do we engage our students early and often in career development and career exposure, whether that is through offerings of how we are connecting them to internships and externships that are connected to our program. And then the last, and probably one of the most important aspects of our entire PLUS pillars is the concept of belonging, which really stands as the foundation of why our program exists, because we really want to make sure that we are helping to support our students with building their community and connecting with peers so that as they return back for orientation in their first year, they already have found their tribe and really start to build and expand on what their community will look like while they're here. So typically with our program, we start off from having some type of class session, and maybe that is a class session that occurs at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., but typically we try to include some type of class session, with a mock lecture with some hand-picked faculty that really serve and support within our office, as well as some of our collaborative office and spaces that we really work with on campus. We also provide some type of resource workshop, whether that is connecting them to a community resource, such as some of our partners here, like student leadership and development, or our Office of Civic and Community Engagement. We provide our students with that opportunity to get to know what those resources are here on campus and how they can really take shape to getting involved whenever they return back for the academic year. Each day, we spend some time with our students getting to know their PLUS counselors and really debriefing from the day to share what their experience was like, how do they engage with the resources that were provided, and what are they learning about themselves as they go throughout this journey. And then throughout the day and throughout the week, there is some type of evening activity, whether that is just like Lorraine mentioned about her program, whether that is going bowling or maybe karaoke night or some type of activity that we may enjoy as a community. And so those are the typical schedule. It does vary from day to day. I think what I love most about our PLUS program is that no 2 days are ever the same, which is probably more of a tribute to what our office looks like on a day-to-day. And so it really gives a lot of variety so that there's something for everyone. We offer opportunities for students who just want to relax and chill, and they just maybe want to engage a little bit more of like walking around campus just to get a good layout of the afternoon. And so we build in those special times and breaks for our students to not only get to know their college roommates that are going to be sharing with during that PLUS week, or perhaps their future roommate, and we also provide opportunities just for them to really get to know the campus as well as the larger extension of the greater Williamsburg area that we get to explore as well. And then some of the resources that we do help our students engage with throughout the course of the week include, but are not limited to, our campus wellness and campus resources, especially for Campus Rec. So we'll make sure that our students get connected to what does campus wellness look like, from exploring everything from our own health and wellness center to our amazing campus recreation center at the B. McLeod Center. And so our students will have an opportunity to see the rock wall and maybe take a few steps on the rock wall if they should desire, or maybe go out to the lake in order to see what opportunities are available to them, or if they choose to take a yoga class that morning. And so there's a lot of flexibility and opportunity that we're providing for our students to really begin to hone in on their wellness and, again, to promote flourishing. We also take a trip to the Washington Center in Washington, D.C. That is usually on our last day of the Plus program, which is really great for our students who are visiting us from the northern area, because our students can depart from the Washington Center in order to go home. But through the Washington Center, our students are exposed to the resources and opportunities that are available to them, as well as they get to learn about the opportunities that they have exclusive to them as being a Plus participant. We also engage with our Cohen Career Center, as before I said, that really connecting our students from our college to career readiness is a huge pillar for us. And so we engage with the Cohen Career Center so that we're helping our students to learn to build their career profile, get connected to one network so they can start engaging with some alumni. And for sometimes they even take a headshot while they're also visiting on campus. So it's a great way for our students to start accessing those resources and really engaging with those resources while they're here. So that's a little bit about the Plus program. I will say that some of the major highlights is that it is a week-long program that begins July 12th, which is a Saturday. It ends July 20th, another Saturday. The first day when students are moving in, we do have a family engagement session. And so you will bring your student, you will stay with us, we will enjoy lunch together, and you'll learn a little bit more about our program, as well as what the week will look like for your student. We'll also make sure that all emergency information is captured so that if there is ever an emergency, we know how to reach you. And more importantly, it's also a way for you to start building your community as well, because being a Plus parent is a perk. And so it's a great opportunity for you to start getting a pre-orientation yourself to what your orientation weekend will look like whenever you bring your student back. In addition to that, our program is free to all students who are selected for the program. Because it is a highly popular program, there is an application process involved. That application is currently open and will close on June 1st, and after which we will begin our rigorous process of selecting candidates for that program, and students will be notified before June 10th so that they can make all arrangements to be prepared for the program. In addition, once students are selected, they also get all of their pre-orientation package information that tells you what to pack, what do you need in order to engage with us throughout the week. And we're super excited because we do get to admit 50 students for this program, and they're matched and paired with two of our 10 upperclassmen mentors. So it's a super awesome week. If you would love more information, you can scan the QR code, and I know that a link will also be provided in the chat. So thank you so much, and I look forward to our Q&A.
All right, thank you, Monique. And now I'm going to turn it over to Lauren Garrett with Student Transition Engagement Programs to discuss our last pre-orientation program, Engage.
Hi, Heather. Hello, everyone. It's so great to be with you. No matter what coast you're coming to us from, I do love this noontime call because who knows where you might be joining us. And if you've got a good cup of coffee with you, I'm a little bit jealous. So I have the pleasure of chatting with you today about the pre-orientation program called Engage, which is hosted by the Office of Civic and Community Engagement here at William & Mary. This is a pre-orientation program that will occur just prior to the start of your student's new student orientation experience, which means that similar to Pathways, your students will arrive on that Monday. And depending on their residence hall, may have the opportunity to drop off some things in their space. But then they will begin the program a little bit later on that afternoon by heading off campus and participating with some local nonprofits who will help provide them with sleeping arrangements or sleeping locations, as well as kitchen arrangements, because this pre-orientation program is all about sustainability, talking with students about how that topic shows up in our community, how that topic shows up in our daily lives and within our daily practices, and how we can talk about the values of our community and how our values of our community intersect with the values of the organizations and the communities that we partner with across the greater Williamsburg area. This program is first come, first serve, and there is a small fee involved. However, similar to others that you've heard today, the Office of Civic and Community Engagement does not want cost to be a barrier. If your student identifies as first generation limited income, There is no cost involved, and they do have a number of sponsorships or scholarships available for limited cost that can be applied for. That application is live. We like to keep the number small with this group, so typically somewhere around 25, maybe 30, if we're feeling feisty and excited about the topic. But Elizabeth and her crew of student leaders are excited to get to know you and your students if sustainability and action. Active action within our community is something that they might be interested in. What I do think is really unique about this program is the connection to local community partnerships. And so if your student has been involved in community service or has interest in coastal marine science or environmental education or sustainability as a whole, this could be a good match for them. What's really interesting is that this year, partially because we're focused on the Year of the Environment, or YOTE, as the students are calling it, most of their programs will be focused on the water. And so there is talk about visiting the Batten School of Marine Science and the Virginia Institute of Marine Science, VIMS, which is Virginia's Coastal and Marine Science Institute, which is down in Gloucester Point. So there will be time to spend in Gloucester for this program, talking with folks about coastal resiliency and what that means for our local community and the impact on economy, as well as folks that rely on the water for their income and for their livelihood. There's also the opportunity then to also look at local farming practices. And here at William & Mary, we actually have a little bit of a farm to table situation that happens with our dining hall. We partner with a lot of local local farmers to bring in fresh produce, to bring in appropriately butchered meats and whatnot. And so we've been able to partner with those folks to get some behind the scenes insights into how does this happen? How do you build those partnerships? And how do you sustain those partnerships when leadership changes or grant funding ebbs and flows? And how do just sort of the everyday trials and tribulations of working on the land and working in sometimes a changeable environment sort of impact the way that we put food on our table and the way that we make sure that we're sourcing appropriate ingredients and sourcing responsibly for the resources that we have. So I think that this program is one of the more unique pre-orientation programs that we've had. It's also one of our most long-running pre-orientation programs, and I know that Elizabeth and her student leaders would love to hear from you or your students if they might be interested in partaking in this opportunity to get to know Williamsburg and the city of James City County just a smidge better.
All right, thank you, Lauren, and thank you to all of my pre-orientation program coordinators for sharing a little bit more information about each of your programs. Now is a great time to submit any questions that you have about these programs. We will take questions for about 10 more minutes before we wrap up. I know that some of our pre-orientation program coordinators, Michael in particular, has been answering some questions. Pathways is one that we get a lot of questions for, so I know that he has been typing some answers while other programs have been presenting. So do check our Q&A for some of those questions to see if they have been answered. But let's see here. Monique has indicated that she would like to answer a question live. So I will start with Monique. Looks like we have a couple of schedule conflicts related to the PLUS program. How do you handle those schedule conflicts?
Yes, those are some really great questions. So thank you, Heather, for letting me share. The PLUS program is structured so that each and every day of the program is accounted for and part of the program. So unfortunately, it is a little bit more difficult when a student does have to miss those days. And so we do ask that if a student is interested, that they have to commit for the duration of the full week, especially because no day, as I said before, no 2 days are ever the same. And there is some very pertinent information that relates to building community that is shared on each of those days.
Okay, thank you. All right, looking at my questions. Lorraine, I think you're typing an answer to this one, but I'll ask you to verbally answer this one as well. How are notifications of acceptance into the Summer Connections program handled? And then I'm going to go around the room and ask the other pre-orientation programs to share verbally what is the process for notifying students that they have been accepted into a program.
Yes, so actually, this is the week where we're going to be reviewing all of the applicants, and then all of the accepted letters will go out by the end of this week, so by this Friday. We close our applications around June 9th, so there's still some time for us to get some more students to apply and engage in the Summer Connections program. But all students that have already applied, we're going to be reviewing their applications this week, and then they will be receiving their acceptance letter on Friday. All students will more than likely be able to become eligible as long as they are incoming freshmen, and only incoming freshmen only with any type of accessibility needs.
Okay, thank you, Lorraine. For my Elevate colleagues, how will student leadership development notify students they have been accepted into the program, and what's the timeline for that?
Yeah, so after applications are due on Monday, May 26th, I believe it is, which is Memorial Day, we'll spend the rest of that week reviewing the applications and looking at who has expressed interest, and then we will send out notifications no later than close of business on Monday, June 2nd. So that way it gives folks 3 weeks to register, pay the fee, work all of that stuff out. So it will be an email that we will send out to the students, and students who also apply but maybe weren't selected. We'll have some students on a wait list, but then we'll also, unfortunately, if there are students who aren't selected for the program, we'll also let them know by June 2nd so that they can move forward with alternative plans for the summer.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, Michael, Pathways program attendees, how do you notify them that they've been accepted, and then what program or what session they're going on?
Sure. So after we receive the applications, we review them, and then the registration coordinator reaches out with your placement. So your student will receive an email to their William & Mary email account. It'll say their placement. You have been placed in this trip. This was your first choice. And then it will also include a lot of other information. They'll receive attachments with health history forms. There'll be an equipment list. There will be a number of things and information in general about the trip and what to expect. They'll also receive a number of other emails. They will ask them to return those forms that they need to fill out by a certain date. And then if we don't receive them, our coordinators start sending email reminders. And then unfortunately, this rarely happens, but if we don't get paperwork back and don't hear from a student after they've been placed, they might receive a warning that if we don't get some of that information back, that they may be removed from the trip. And then that potentially happens at the end if we don't hear from those students. Extremely rare, 1 or 2 every year, but there will be a series of emails. We ask to give us at least 2 weeks for that email, but in the beginning, you'll get it much sooner than that. It's just the applications come in waves. And so every time there's a new marketing campaign, we get flooded by applications. We try to review them quickly, get all that information out. So no longer than 2 weeks to be notified.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I say it every year, but families will not be on a webinar with me where I do not say your student should be checking their William & Mary email regularly, because I would hate for any of your students to miss out on these experiences because they aren't checking their email addresses. So now is a good time, just a friendly reminder, students should be checking their William & Mary email address regularly for contact from the university and any of these pre-orientation program coordinators who may be reaching out with important trip details, acceptances, waitlist notifications, things of that nature. Okay, and then Monique, finally, ways that students will be notified they've been accepted, and what is the timeline for that?
Yes, so students will be notified through their William & Mary email account. And so that is very, very important for students to start learning and practicing with their email Although they may apply with both a personal email account and their William & Mary email, we do specifically request the William & Mary email. It is also specified in the instructions when they are applying that students will be notified via the William & Mary email. Notifications will roll out beginning June 10th, and students will have a turnaround time to commit to the program. And for students who are on the wait list, because we traditionally have a wait list each year, those students will be notified that they are waitlisted. And as soon as students are informing us that they may not be able to participate, we then go to the wait list and notify students. And that typically happens right around June 15th for any student who is waitlisted. So it still gives enough time for students to make arrangement. I think that's probably one of the most important things. I would also like to add, whereas I see some are asking, can students participate in both? I will make a note to say the Plus program is very intense. It is a week-long immersive experience. Our students tend to be exhausted in a good way because they're trying to take in so much throughout the week. And we literally are up all day, and your student will probably be up from 8 a.m. until midnight plus time on their own choosing, not by programming, because it is just a great opportunity for building community that students just tend to want to be up all night. And so I do put a little pause in saying it may be a little bit too much to try to balance both if one does end and the next starts. That is just my recommendation, but I would leave that up to your student to decide. But it is a very intensive, immersed experience where we are engaging students on campus, off campus, traveling to DC as well. So I just want to put a little pause of caution about that. But super excited either way for your student if they're interested.
Thank you. That was a great plug of that question we've gotten a couple of times, which is, can students participate in multiple programs? The answer is yes, as long as there are no date conflicts with the programs, because that may hinder their ability to be accepted into a program. So if your student is interested in multiple, they can, of course, explore multiple sessions of different pre-orientation programs. So if they want to do Plus and another, that is always an option. There is no restriction there. I will just add, we do have limited space in all of our pre-orientation programs. So being mindful of our sense of community, that perhaps maybe your student chooses one pre-orientation program so another student can participate in a different pre-orientation program experience, but you all can make those decisions as a family, and your student can choose to apply to multiple if they would like to. Okay, let's see here. We had some questions about parking, so I'm curious if anyone wants to speak on it out loud, and Lauren, you can chime in as well. If a student wants to drive themselves to campus before their pre-orientation program, is there a place for them to store their car, or what is the best contact for them if they have questions about where they can park their car? And Michael, I think you typed an answer to this one, so you go for it.
Yes, we occasionally have students drive themselves. Now, typically freshmen don't have cars on campus, so it would have to be like a temporary thing. They're just coming for their program. When they do, it's their responsibility to contact parking services and purchase themselves a parking pass to cover the time that they are here. We even have to do that for our own student staff who are working for the summer. We have to work through parking services to get them a guest pass so that they can park somewhere on campus. Parking services will be able to better direct where they would like them to leave their cars, especially if their car is going to be here overnight, which it will be if they're on a Pathways program.
Okay, wonderful. All right, my last question, and anyone can answer this question. Please feel free to chime in, whoever wants to take it first. We'll go whoever just comes off mute first. What is your best piece of advice for families as they're assisting their students in exploring all of these wonderful options, because they all are such wonderful, intentional community building experiences? How do families best support their student in identifying which pre-orientation program is right for them?
I'll take a stab as the new kid on the block. We are doing our first one, but I think they all offer an opportunity that probably is aligned with places where your student has already expressed interest or is aligned in terms of interests. And so I think they allow for a deeper dive on the thing that is most significant to your student and allow them the choice to kind of pick some things that are things they're already navigating. If you have a student who wants to come to college to try new things, maybe to look at where there are goals for programs that might help them. All of them are going to help to create community around a topic or an interest area with others who share that same interest. So I think letting that drive interest would be one of my recommendations. But I will also gladly defer to colleagues who have done this for a while, since we are offering a new program.
No, I think that is great advice. I think we will end there. And Anne, that's typically your philosophy around helping students get connected anyways. So I think that's great advice as they're looking at this first round of how do I choose between all of these great opportunities. So really sound advice. Families, all of the information about pre-orientation programs, application deadlines, application notifications, costs, websites, FAQs, best email addresses for each of these program coordinators is available on the pre-orientation programs website, which is listed here in the chat for anyone attending live and will be listed in the description of this recording so you can access it. Your best bet if you have real specific questions about a pre-orientation program will be to reach out to the office or the program coordinator of that pre-orientation program. We know some pretty high-level information here in family engagement. We will always do our best to support our partners, but if it's a real nitty-gritty question, I'm probably going to pass you along to a program coordinator. So be sure to bookmark that page. Looking forward to seeing all of the ways that your students get connected over the summer before they start their William & Mary experience. Thank you to my pre-orientation program coordinators for joining us on this lunch hour on the week of commencement when rain is in the forecast, and I know that things are looking a little hairy out there. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. And I will see you all on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.